If you think the Prius owns the hybrid category, what about the Corolla? This thing owned the compact econo car category way before we ever heard of a Civic. Let's see if Toyota still has it as we drive the 2014 Corolla LE Eco and check the tech. Now spot a 14 Corolla easily. Just open your eyes and look at it. It doesn't look at all like the outgoing generation. Every panel, every detail's heavily revised. Here's a spotter's trick though. Look for LED low beam headlamps. They're standard on all the 14s, which I believe is a first for any affordable car. Now if you want to tell an eco from a non-eco, forget it. There's no real clear visual cue. Little difference in the chin, but not much. Let's get inside. Now inside, Toyota's done something at least different. This dash really harkens back, to be honest, to the late 70s and the early 80s, in a tasteful way, I think. But this whole eyebrow and kind of flat face thing is at least a refreshing change from the kind of doughy ovoids that seem to populate every other car's dashboard these days. Now, what's in it? Here's the star of the show. You have an LCD touch head unit in either a standard or premium configuration we'll get to in a minute. 6 inches of touchscreen is not a lot. And when you're here on the home screen like I have, and you've split it 3 ways, 1, 2, 3, everything gets real small. Upper left corner in this case, I've got my entertainment settings going. Lower left, those are phone settings. And on the right, there's the map peeking through. Now, of course, these will come full screen as you go to any one of the actual functions. I like this about the Toyota interface. They put all the audio together under audio. If I go to my navigation system, I get there via apps. Perfectly functional, a tad slow on the uptake, but not bad. And as you can see, it's micro SD based. Voice command on this car is also standard, I think, on every trim level, as is at least some version of this head unit.
What would you like to do?
Start a new route. 235 2nd Street, San Francisco, California. 1.
I heard 235 2nd Street, San Francisco, California. Is that correct?
As you can see, the voice system is very good at comprehension, dog slow at doing it, so it's a mixed bag, but it's nice to have it. When you get into these apps here that are part of the Entune suite, it's a mixed bag of whether and how well voice command works with them. And the array has not changed. We've seen these before, and they're still in there, but it's nice to have them base on every Corolla. Now, if you get the premium package, it upgrades to have HD radio, satellite radio, Grace Note database for your sources, and a couple of interesting features I haven't seen before. Check this out. When I go to AM or FM radio and I pull open this little slide over tray on the right, this is a 20-minute buffer. So if you press live, you're in real time. Or if you want to skip back, you can skip back to various marks using these buttons. Here's another one, under traffic. So here's a traffic map, but if I hit this slider down here, I can get predicted traffic over the next 45 minutes. You've also got a weather overlay on the map if you'd like. And you've got the option for some pretty rich text messaging support, up to including a vehicle SIG for outgoing messages. Rear camera on all these Corollas, I understand to be standard. That's also a nice feature given the price point of these cars. It doesn't have any predictive direction technology. It merely shows you zones and it comes on, and that's about all it does. Also nice, automatic temperature control, single zone, is standard on all these cars as well. And to go along with climate, thank you, we've got mechanical seat heater buttons. I like those because when they're on, they stay on. In terms of drive controls, this is our one-choice automatic. It's a CVT, a continuously variable transmission, with 3 positions: regular drive, sport, and B, which from the Prius is a additional regenerative braking mode. I'm not quite sure what it does on a car without a regeneration cycle. There's no shiftable gate no matter where you are, no paddles because it's a CVT, but it does have synthetic shift points programmed into it. And here's your Eco Mode button. This is part of the Eco Trim model we have. This will put the car into a particularly fuel-saving mode, although it's confusing because you've also got an Eco Light over here that tells you when you are driving economically, and then you've got another light that tells you when you've got the button to press to make you drive economically. It's a little odd. Now, one of the most interesting innovations on the new Corolla is kind of a magic trick. They extended the car 2.6 inches over the outgoing model. Within that, they found almost 6 inches of additional legroom. That's packaging. So if I set up my seat here in the front, as I have, so it's comfortable for me to be driving, and I come to the back row, can I actually sit behind myself? There are very few cars where I can. But in this one, I certainly could. They've added 5 inches of legroom to the back seat over last year's model. That's like going from a Lexus LS to an LSL, or an Audi 8 to an 8L. That's like big car legroom, and they've got it here. That's real nice. Now up front on the new Corolla, you've got a 1.8-liter inline-4 sitting side saddle driving the front wheels. Here's where things get different. This one has what's called Valvematic technology on the Eco, which allows it to wring another 5% MPG out of what is otherwise the same basic engine as the other Corollas. Here are the numbers. 140 horse, 126 foot-pounds of torque. Just adequate. 0 to 60, about 9.7 seconds, at least for the S trim. Should be about the same for this car, but they don't have a number published yet. Now, the MPG is the key. 30 city, 42 highway, if you get the real stripper model that has the steel wheels. We have an upgraded car with bigger alloys, and that drops it to 30 city, 40 highway. Still really good numbers. And this car weighs about 2,800 pounds. Not a whole lot on the hoof. That certainly helps the efficiency. Let's go for a ride, see how it all works together. Now underway, the Corolla is exactly what you probably thought it would be. It's a driving appliance, but it's not sloppy or numb. It's just sort of uninspired. In the drive mode, this power plant and CVT combine for kind of laggardly response. But once it gets revving, it's a pretty satisfying powertrain. Put it over in sport mode and you get not so much more oomph as much as you get more alertness in the powertrain. And then there's this nonsensical B position, which puts you into a heavy brake, sort of a deceleration mode by gearing down. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense on a car that doesn't have brake regen. I can do that myself, except there's nowhere to shift on this car, so I guess that's why you have to have B. Ride quality is pretty good on this vehicle. I don't have a harshness coming through. It's firm enough. I don't feel at all like I'm wallowing. Nothing about the car feels cheap. That's a key thing you've got to get done in a car that is. Now, pricing this guy is interesting. We have an LE Plus. There is a lower trim level, but not available here in my part of California anyway. So check by region, because if you go one lower, I believe that's where you get the extra 2 MPG with the lower trim package and apparently skinnier tires that are key to that. $21,300 for the LE Plus, the second one in the line. On top of that, I'm going to add one option for $23,600, the convenience package. It gets you the power moonroof, the enhanced Entune system with navigation, satellite radio, HD radio, whole bunch of niceties, little improved audio, I believe, as well, and that's definitely worth the money. So all in, you're under 24 grand for a car that has no significant downsides as nice transportation. Not a driver's car, but it's a nice car for everyday living because of what they've done by stretching that floor pan, putting it to use in the back seats, and doing a very credible job on a small but packed central head unit.